Have you ever been on your favorite app store and seen all of the clicker games that are available and you just say to yourself, wow, I wish there was one more of these but super horribly made. Well, boy am I glad you clicked on this video. I'm making a clicker game in 1 hour because I feel like it, and I've never made a clicker game before, believe it or not, and it just sounds fun to do. Alright, ground rules time. Obviously the game has to be a clicker style game, and once the time runs out I have to stop immediately. Except for finishing the line of code that I am currently working on if it's required for the game to run. And I'm gonna add a bonus rule here, because all good things come in sets of 3s. No outside help from the internet, no looking back on previous projects, no begging friends for help, etc, etc. And here's a fun fact for you. I was sick while recording the footage for this, so excuse the questionable decisions that were made in the making of this video. This is foreshadowing for you folks who are too obtuse to notice. Alright, now with the boring stuff out of the way, let's jump right into it. Before starting the timer, I made the project and installed an add-on that would allow you all to see how far I am into the challenge. Don't get too comfortable with it. Then I got the timer ready from our favorite personal information salesman and made sure I had everything ready. And I did, so you know what that means. The timer starts now. So the first thing I did was immediately forget how to make a main scene for some reason. Quick side note, why does this happen in every one of these timed videos I do? Once I regained my lost brain cells, I got the main scene going and I put a button into it. After I made that, I made a quick variable for the points you're going to get for clicking. After verifying that I can still add two numbers together with the help of a machine, I made a label for the number of points you have. And there we have it. You click the button and get points. That's all I need to do. Stop the timer. I'm done here. My next course of action was making an option to get more points per click, and the first thing I went with was a container for a set of buttons. But I quickly remembered that I don't know how to use containers, so instead I just opted to slap the upgrade button on the side like a troglodyte. Then I just set the button to add 0.2 points per click every time it gets bought. This gets changed later on, so don't get too used to your precious floating point numbers. Also, another side note, that add-on I had was getting annoying, asking to save new information every time I ran the project because I think I accidentally broke it, so I just disabled it. My deepest condolences to the fans of Project Time Tracker for Godot. In between all this, I made a little signal that'll just update every button and label so that they're displaying the correct information. Which is somewhat important when it comes to a game where numbers on a screen play a very important role. Now comes the part where I realized using floats was a bad idea. You see, computers absolutely suck when it comes to decimal math. So sometimes you'll just get these absolutely ridiculous numbers. I'm not qualified to explain why this happens, so your homework for tonight is to look up why this happens. Anyway, I tried to round the numbers so they would look much more reasonable, but they clearly weren't taking that, so I just decided to leave it up to future me and continued onward. I made a second button, which I had already decided that it would be like a grandma from Cookie Clicker. You buy it and you automatically start getting points, and for every subsequent purchase, you get more points in an even faster amount of time. So I laid the groundwork for all that and got everything in just about working order, except the timer I was using decided that wait time wasn't a valid function anymore. So, instead, I changed it to the number of points you would get in 3 seconds, starting at 0.1 and increasing with every purchase. Remember
41 seconds ago
when I said I was leaving the floating point issue to my future self? Well, now I'm my future self, so it's time to find out what I did. Did I, A, leave them the way they are, B, figure out how to round the numbers properly, or C, say screw it and just change it to use whole numbers instead? Take your guesses now. Drum roll please. If you chose C, then you'd be correct. I hate using my critical thinking skills, so I just took the easiest option and changed all the floats to integers, and said it was fixed. Then, finally I got started on Oops. Looks like I was a dumbass and fat-fingered the stop recording button on my keyboard on accident. Well, that sucks. Luckily for me, the last thing I was doing was just making everything look good. So here it is after the timer went off and I realized I turned off my screen recorder. I went with pink and purple for literally no other reason than that I had never seen a clicker game with that color palette before. And so, here it is. The unnamed clicker game because I forgot to make a main menu and thus I didn't need to put a name on it. Let me know in the comments what you think the name should be. And since this thing is obviously unfinished, we're gonna need to make a part 2 of this soon, or else I won't be able to sleep at night. The download for this rec is in the description if you hate yourself. Lastly, I hate asking this because it's cringe, but please like or subscribe or whatever you want to help out, since the almighty algorithm will put me down if this video doesn't bring in enough arbitrary numbers. Or don't, that's up to you. Anyway, that's about all I have for you right now. I'm done here.